Joining me now is veteran Democratic strategist and NYU professor Bob Shrum, and also Roy Sekoff, founding editor of the Huffington Post. Gentlemen, I think there's going to be a lot of agreement in this segment tonight. But Bob Shrum, I think you have called this all along, and I think the question begs tonight: had the president not compromised on the tax cuts, would all of the things that have happened post that signing would have happened? What do you think?
No, I think doing the compromise deal on the tax cut was essential to this. As you know, Ed, I believe that that compromise deal, while it has elements that I don't like at all, was in some ways a very progressive measure that was the only hope for getting a second economic stimulus and really helping out the unemployed. But it cleared the way so that the president could get measure after measure through the Congress. He's gotten more done in a lame duck session of Congress than some presidents get done in their entire term. Lindsey Graham was on the air, the senator from South Carolina, complaining the other day that Harry Reid had eaten the Republicans' lunch. What really happened here was that the president designed a grand strategy for the lame duck, which I think worked. It could have failed, but it worked.
Roy Sekoff, these are big political chops in a grand strategy that has played out very well for the Democrats. Where do you think the liberal base is going to be now?
Well, you know, Ed, there's no question that that is a very impressive list you just laid out. You know, in the immortal words of Joe Biden, it's a big effing deal. However, you know, here's the problem. As you remember what Nancy Pelosi said, though, after the election? She said 9.5 unemployment is an eclipsing event. And that's the problem, Ed. When you've got 27 million people who are out of work or underemployed, and when you have foreclosures still rampaging along, and you've got this war spinning out of control in Afghanistan, it's hard to bask in the glow of that thing. And I think that's the real problem that the president's facing. And what scared me, and Bob will comment on this, in his speech today, one of the things he said he was going to do first was, as soon as they got back from vacation, he was going to focus on cutting the deficit and balancing the budget. That scared me. He's buying into that meme that's rampant in Washington, that we've got to focus on the deficit, and he didn't say nearly as much or as strongly about job creation.
Well, this is going to be a big fight for the Democrats to protect these great institutions that the Democrats have brought in over the years. So, but one thing that really impressed me today, the president, his laser focus on the middle class. Here it is.
I think middle class folks would confirm what the statistics say, which is they have not seen a real increase in their incomes in a decade, while their costs have skyrocketed. That's just a fact. Something that's always been the greatest strength of America is a thriving, booming middle class, where everybody's got a shot at the American dream. And that should be our goal.
Bob Shrum, the middle class and jobs. Here comes 2012. What do you think?
Yeah, look, I think Roy's right, half right and half wrong. He's right that the unemployment number really matters. What I heard the president saying today was he was going to be very selective in terms of what programs could be cut and when they should be cut, and he was going to defend programs that he thought were essential to economic growth. Look, he's just trying to get a positioning here where he can oppose Republicans as they try for draconian cuts. But, Ed, I want to say one other thing about the base. You know, I have a very good friend, David Mixner, who's been in the forefront of the fight for gay rights for 40 years and who was in that room today. And he called me afterwards and he said it was one of the most moving moments of his life. I think we can't forget that what happened today was that this president made one of the great civil rights speeches, and we've now achieved one of the great civil rights milestones. We have a lot more to do. We also have to focus on the economy. But you know, a president's got to do more than one thing at a time. And I want him to come back and fight on immigration as well as jobs, for example.
Where do we go from here, Roy?
Yeah, well, I think what's going to happen is we're going to, you know, after the election, Boehner said that we're still dealing with the Obama agenda. So I think Obama has to, you know, play a little return there and say, okay, where's the Boehner agenda? What, you know, what are the Republicans finally going to stand for, as opposed to just trying to knock me down? I think that's going to be a key thing to see as we move forward. And I think the progressives are going to be looking to see how strongly does he fight these attempts to encroach on Medicare and on Social Security and on the core issues of a progressive agenda. And I love the rhetoric about the middle class, but I still feel that the feeling out in the country among the middle class is that the banks and the corporations are still getting the sweeter end of the deal from this administration.
Only time will tell. Roy Seekoff, Bob Shrum, great to have both you guys.
We ought to
Ed,
can I say one thing? We ought to trust this guy. He has earned our trust. That bill he signed today and what he's achieved in the last month, he's earned the right to ask us to give him some breathing space and to see what he's going to do next year. He's already done more than most progressive presidents in a very long time.
He deserves a
victory lap,
that's for sure.
Gentlemen, good to have you with us tonight.
Thanks.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Thanks, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
Thank you,
now let's
Ed.
get some rapid-fire response from our panel on these stories tonight.